Section number 58 is entitled the quadratic formula. It's a formula that solves this type of equation, a quadratic equation. And whenever you have a number times x squared plus a number times x plus another number equals 0, the answer is always x is equal to negative the number in front of x plus or minus the square root of the number in front of x squared minus 4 times the a value times the c value, and the whole thing divided by 2a. Now, this here is shorthand notation for two numbers. One number is negative b plus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. The other number is with the minus. Negative b minus the square root stuff all over 2a. So that represents two numbers. One with the plus sign, one with the minus, another one with the minus sign. Two numbers. Sometimes people may say it measures 10 plus or minus 2 inches. 10 plus 2 is 12, 10 minus 2 is 8. That represents two numbers. Actually, it represents in between 8 and 12. But if somebody, in mathematics, if somebody writes 10 plus or minus 2, they mean 12 or 8. The answer is either 12 or 8. I have to think whether we should add the 2 or minus the 2. So the answer is either 12 or 8. Okay, so let us use this formula to solve the problem that we've seen 85 times already. This one. X squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0. So A is the understood 1. B is the number that x is being multiplied by. And C is the constant. So I go to my quadratic formula, which is right here. X is equal to, and I just copy, it's negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. And I plug in the values. B goes here, and B goes here, and here's a, and here's c, and here's a. And B is 5, and B is still 5, and A is 1, and C is 6, and A is 1. Just plug in the values. So I get negative 5 plus or minus the square root of. This is 24. 4 times 1 is 4, times 6 is 24. 5 squared is 25. 25 minus 24 is not hard, it's 1. And the bottom is 2 times 1 over 2. And the square root of 1 is 1. So we get two answers. 5 plus 1 over 2, which is 6 over 2, which is 3, or 5 minus 1 over 2, which of course is 4 over 2, which is 2. Those are the two answers, 3 and 2. X squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay, now that doesn't seem like it's working, and the reason it's not working was it was negative 5. Sorry, it was negative 5. You write it clear up here. Negative 5 plus minus 1 over 2. Well, one answer is negative 5 plus 1 over 2, which is negative 4 over 2, which is negative 2. The other answer is with the minus, negative 5 minus 1 over 2. which is negative 6 over 2, which is negative 3. So those are the two answers. These were not the two answers. The square root of 1 was 1. So it's negative 5 plus 1 over 2, and negative 5 minus 1 over 2. And we'll check the negative 2. Negative 2. When you square it, it becomes 4. And positive 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. And you add 6. Negative 10. 4 plus 6 is 10. You take away 10, you get 0. If you tried negative 3, negative 3 was the other answer. Negative 3. We're testing negative 3. You square it, you get 9. Positive 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. Then you add 6. But you know what? 9 plus 6 is 15. You take away 15, you do get 0. So they both checked. Okay, I hope I wasn't too confusing. Let's try another one. So you basically just plug in the A, B's, and C's. First you need to get it in standard form. AX squared plus BX plus C equals 0. For example, if you have x squared minus 3x plus 4 equals 0. A is what x squared is being multiplied by. In this case, it's an imaginary 1. It's understood to be 1. B is what x is being multiplied by. And C is the constant. But it has to say equal to 0 when it does. If it did it, that would be step 1. Get it to equal 0. And then just write down the formula. X is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all of it divided by 2 times a. B goes here, and b is whatever it is. If this says negative 3, you better believe I'm not going to put 3. I'm not going to say already put the minus sign. That minus sign belongs there. If b has its own minus sign, whatever. B, a goes here, which is 1. C goes here, which is 4. And a is 1. A negative 3 is positive 3. Plus or minus the square root of. Negative 3 squared is 9 minus 4 times 1 times 4 is, I didn't want to do this. I'm going to make one little change. Oh, okay, we'll leave it this way. 4 times 1 is 4 times 4 is 16 divided by 2. So we get 3 plus or minus the square root of negative 7. 9 minus 16 is negative 7 over 2, which means there's no solution. You can't take the square root of a negative number. This will never, ever equal 0. Either it'll always be more than 0, or it'll always be less than 0. But it'll never be 0. And I see the y-intercept is at 4. If I plug in 0, I get 0 squared minus 3 times 0 plus 4 is 4. All I know is if I graph this, it'll always be above here. It might look like that, but it'll always be above the x-axis. It will never touch the x-axis nor cross the x-axis. If it touches it, then it would equal 0. It would equal 0 right here. If it crosses it, then it would equal 0 right here. If it came back up, it would equal 0 right here. It's either always positive or always negative. But that doesn't matter at this point. The instant we weren't asked that information. Is it always positive or negative? We were asked when it equals 0, and the answer is it doesn't. It never equals 0. Now, I want to make one simple change or one slight change, and then we will get an answer. This problem had no answer, and you will see those in your book. If you want to find them real easily, look in the back. Go to the section of these types. Look in the back of the book where they have the solutions, and look for one that says no solution. It will be there. Okay, I am going to modify the original problem just a little bit, not much at all. The original problem was x squared minus 3x plus 4. I'm just going to write minus 4. I'm going to change c to negative 4. That's the only difference. And c, in the formula, only comes up in one place. Right there is c. And I change it to negative 4. All right. Negative 3 is 3, plus or minus the square root of. Negative 3 squared is 9. And this product is now negative 16. 9 minus negative 16 all over 2 times 1. The 9 minus negative 16 is 25. And I happen to know the square root of 25 is 5. So here are the two answers. 3 plus 5 over 2, which is 8 over 2 or 4, or 3 minus 5 over 2, which is negative 2 over 2 or negative 1. So those are the two answers. Okay? It's between you and your teacher. Well, you really shouldn't leave it like this. The only time you would leave it like that is as follows. Is when you couldn't add them. For example, if you ended up with not 3 plus 5 over 2, but 3 plus or minus. 3 plus, why is this not writing? Okay, it lost my motivation, so let's try again. If the answer was not 3 plus or minus 5 over 2, but 3 plus or minus the square root of 5. That you can leave this, you can leave your answer just like that. Why? Because you really can add 3 and square root of 5 and divide it by 2. And you can't really subtract them. So there's no real point in doing it that way. However, if it was 3 plus 5 like it was, 3 plus or minus 5, now we can do the arithmetic. Now we really can. 3 plus 5 is 8 over 2 is 4. 3 minus 5 is negative 2 over 2 is negative 1. Okay, so now we have much, much better answers. 4 and negative 1. It's a lot better than saying this. This is kind of hard. It's like, well, what is that? I have to do the arithmetic, you mean? 3 plus 5 over 2, that's 4. 3 minus 5 over 2, why, that's negative 1. You should do the arithmetic when you can. Again, if it were square root of 5, we can't do the arithmetic. I would know you mean this, but I wouldn't have to do any arithmetic. I know when the radical is not there. If I know that if the radical was not there, this means 3 plus 5 over 2, or 3 minus 5 over 2. Unlike down here where I couldn't do the arithmetic, up there I can. So you really should do it when you can. Let people know what the answer is. The answer is 4 and negative 1. Remember that the quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac, and the whole thing gets divided by 2 times a. Now, if you were asked to solve this, x squared over 6 5 over 6x plus 1 equals 0. Well, you have every right to say that's A, and that's B, and that's C. But those are fractions. It'd be nicer not to use fractions. In fact, if you wanted to solve this without using the quadratic formula, what you can do is just multiply every term by 6. So now we'll just denote that. And multiply every term by 6. And the 6's cancel. And the 6's will cancel. No more denominator. They cancel out to 1. So you really have x squared plus 5x plus 6 equaling 0. And A would be 1, and B would be 5, and C would be 6. And we're not going to do that one because we just did that one a couple of problems ago. The very first problem we did, if this would back up, maybe I erased it. The very first problem we did was x squared plus 5x plus 6. The very first problem we did was this one using the quadratic formula. So I'm not going to do it again. The point is if you have fractions, clear them out. Get rid of them. Because although you can plug in fractions for A, B, and or C, you'd rather not. You really don't want to plug in 1/6 for A and 5/6 for B. You'd rather not do that. But you're more than welcome to do it if you want. But you can clear out the denominators. Get rid of them. Okay, this completes the section on the quadratic formula, using the quadratic formula. You must know the formula. In my opinion, your teacher should not give you the formula on the test, but if he or she does, well then you at least have to know how to use it. Okay, good luck with it. Thank you.